Good morning, everyone. I have got a little bit of time on my hands this morning, which is fantastic, because I don't work until later tonight. I have a night shift. So diamond painting is my thing. I've been diamond painting for about 7 or 8 years now, and prior to that I did do colouring in. Please excuse my naughty dog in the background there. So yeah, I absolutely loved colouring in, but what happened is I actually lost the ability to find, well, I just could not find any new books. Joanna Basford is my favourite illustrator, and I had sort of completed all her pictures. I'd actually done her books 2 or 3 times. She hadn't brought anything else out at that time. So, yeah, that was sort of really disappointing. And, there's just so many really low quality books that are available. And, yeah, they just frustrated me because I really wanted to do something of high quality, just like this. So, without further ado, I'm currently working on this book, Beautiful Planet, and by Leila Duly. And you can see that I sort of started the front there. However, today I thought I would make a start on this picture. And the thing is with these illustrations that's really quite incredible is that things start to pop out at you as you colour. So the drawings are so complex that it's only when you start colouring that you can start sort of putting the picture together. So you can see there's a few little sort of things that appear as quite hidden in this picture. One of them is a dragonfly, which is simply just lovely. And here we've got a frog, a stripy frog. So I thought, why don't I start on those two? So what I'm going to do is I have a limited amount of markers at the moment. I only use markers. I stopped using colouring in pencils years ago. I just found them very messy, very difficult to work with, and just the constant sharpening them and keeping them sharp, and I just found it was just a big headache. So I just swapped markers, never looked back, especially now with the variety of markers that we have available. Now you can see on this picture we've got some transfer from the other side, because I've done some fish on this side. Well, started doing some fish, and that's actually come through, but hopefully you won't be able to see that once we're sort of finished. So what I'll do to start, before I go ahead and work on the dragonfly and the frog, I'm just going to use one of these sketch markers to do a bit of a background. So you can see here there is some light, or there is a color coming through here, and I want to get that done prior to starting the other colors. So basically I'm not going to be too anal about it. Try and stay in the lines if I can, but I just want to put a little bit of that green background, just to add some atmosphere to the picture. Give you an idea maybe of what time of the day it is. Maybe it's springtime, sort of in the middle of the day. I can actually hear birds outside at the moment, which is just beautiful. That looks like a bit of space there too. So you want to just work through here and just fill in those gaps. And as I said, you don't have to be crazy anal about it. Now this colour is dim green, and that's exactly what it is. It's just a really dim green. So you can see I'm just working through these little gaps here. And the thing is with these alcohol markers is they're really cool because they don't sort of leave a streak. You know, you can't see the lines of where the markers end. So it's a really cool effect, like the background, or just a bit of the flower there. So you can see I'm just filling in these spaces, and there is a little bit up here as well. Go around this flower. And I might just, because you can see it's sort of the pictures in this sort of art shape. So I'll just do these parts too. Now, because a lot of these will be filled up, or you won't be able to see the marker, but up the top here you will be able to see the marker. So we just want to make sure that's a little bit tidy. Just make sure all those spaces are filled in. Now the rest of the background here, it seems to be highlighted in black or done with black, which is really good because again that'll give us a really cool contrast with this picture. So you can see now we've got a bit of a background, so we've got a bit of an atmosphere. Now I don't colour plan or go through and work out exactly what colours I'm going to use to make the picture absolutely perfect. I find that stressful, so I want colouring to be as stressless as possible. So I completely wing it, and I just choose the colours as I go, like you would do if you were a child. So I really like the idea of this dragonfly being in blues and greens, so I might just grab a couple of colours out just to give me a vague idea of you know what I want to do. So I'm going for blues and greens, so I've got 3 different colours there, so that should be good. So we've got, oh, he's got his little eyes there. What colour am I going to do his eyes? I might do his little eyes black. Now hopefully you've got some colouring in going as we do this together, because that's what makes it fun. You can hear my chihuahua at the back still going crazy. So this is the part where you really want to try and keep the pens accurate. You know, colour in the lines, so to speak, because you want this to almost look like a photograph or a piece of art. And this is where, you know, the more accurate you are, the better the picture's going to look, or the more realistic it's going to look. So I do like to take my time and make sure that they are as perfect as possible. In saying that, unfortunately, life isn't always like that. And sometimes you can't help it, it just happens. Your hand slips and you go outside the lines. And what colouring in teaches you is that, you know, there's no such thing as absolute perfection. I don't think anyone alive has ever done a colouring in that they feel that it was absolutely as perfect as it could be. Often you watch, you know, some of the tutorials and someone will actually say, oh, look, you know, I didn't do very well on that part there, or whoopsie daisy, I've gone out of the lines there. Do they throw it in the bin, stop colouring and giving up? Of course they don't, because they acknowledge that in the big scheme of things, when the amount of work and time that goes into a colouring in, you're not just going to throw it away or give up on it because of one tiny little mistake. So I'm not sure here. So, you know, this is the difficulty. So I've got this fourth wing here, and there is a little line in here, but I don't think it's the structure of his wing, because in reality you wouldn't be able to see it because the other wing's in front of it. So I might leave that there, and then I'm going to use this sort of green colour on his body to give him a bit of a whimsical look. And we'll just do these tiny little connections of his tail. Make sure they're all filled in, and we better do his little legs. So we don't want to forget those, and they've got to be colour coordinated with the rest of him. So his little legs are done, and then what we'll do is we'll just do some little features on these wings here as well. Now, I feel like one of the mistakes that I made when I first started colouring was that I used way too many colours. So, you know, I'd pick a picture like this and I would do every colour of the rainbow. You know, everything in my text box would be used. And I have realised over the years that that doesn't always look the best. You know, it's not always those pictures that you go, oh wow, that's unbelievable. Sometimes you go, oh, that's a bit busy or a bit much. So I have really tried to settle down my colour usage to just really highlight the colours that I do use, instead of trying to use every single colour in my palette, which I don't have many at the moment. Now I might, just for ease sake, do this little part in here, this colour as well. So what are you guys working on at the moment? What's everyone doing? I'd really love to know what you're working on, see your works in progress. Now I will try, I've got a little green here, a nice green colour, but I just feel like I'm going to do a blue, but there's just a little bit of room for just a smidge of another colour. So I might just put a little bit of green in here too, just a touch. So where am I going to put the green? I'll put it here. So that looks quite amazing actually. And then I've just got a really pale blue here, and these are just Stedler. Look, they weren't particularly cheap, these textures. They cost me about $35. See, maybe that should be green as well. Oopsie daisy. Wrong end. These are good. They've got a thick end and a thin end. So you can see there's a little bit of bleeding there, but it's not going to be the end of the world. And then I might just go with the big end, because the big end is a bit more subtle. Just try and stay in the lines there and just fill in the rest of his wings with this really pale blue. Now, a big part of colouring in is actually about checking. You know, checking if you've missed anything. So I do tend to check a fair bit. So that's why I tend to only try and work on one thing at a time. So you can see with the dragonfly, he's all done. and he's only a little tiny. But right down here, between his legs here, there's a little bit of white. So I'll just fill that in. That was probably supposed to be the background green, but we're past that now. So the dragonfly is now done. And I do have a gold pen. I've got a couple of them, and I purchased them yesterday. And these... this is a Montmartre, which is, again, you know, a middle of the range type of dealio. And I purchased 2 of them. But yeah, they're really, really amazing. They're like your gold pens that you used to use at school. You just shake them up like that, and they can really bring a picture alive. But I usually do this at the end, depending on what's happening and what I'm feeling. So I might move on from the dragonfly now and look at doing this frog. He's very, very cute. And I did do, there's another frog, an identical frog at the beginning of the book here on this open cover page at the front. And I did him in the lime green with the red, because that's how I saw him in my mind, because I know that the stripes mean that he's toxic in some way, and often that is a really bright colour. So I did him in with the green and the red, and then I put some of the gold just on his feet, just as a bit of a highlight to make them look a bit fancy. So this guy here, I'm going to stick with the blues. So again, I'm going to go back to the blues. And what we might do is make his stripes purple, and then do his body like a bright blue colour. So we want to start on the stripes, and you can see they're very, very fine. So I'm going to have to take my time a little bit here. Colouring in is not a race. It is about, the more time you take on each page, the nicer it will be. And I watched a video the other day, and this girl, you know, she actually exhibited that by spending half an hour on a colouring in, and then spending 10 hours on another colouring in, the same colouring in, and just what the difference was in time. And I guess that's about the time taken to plan, the time taken to choose the colours, but also the time taken to colour in every single little tiny bit of that picture to the best of your ability, rather than, you know, just being slack and, you know, rushing it just to get it finished, because that isn't what colouring in is about. It is about enjoying the journey. And, you know, a big part of the journey is, you know, watching your picture come to life, watching it turn from something very grey and colourless and boring into something magnificent. So, I mean, that's what the magic of colouring in is, even when you're a child. So I'm just working on his little legs here, getting his little legs all sorted out, because there's lots of little stripes down his legs. And you see here there's another little stripe there, so I'll make sure we do that. So you can see that's a bit bleedy there, but we'll just do the best we can, because this is really fine work. So my hand's actually getting a little bit sore doing this. And they're really jagged lines. So it's just trying to get each part of that filled in. Gee, he looks like a really cool frog actually with that colour. We'll just do this little bit around his eye. I want to do that in the purple as well. And you can see here, just not quite to align there or there. Get that tidied up. And I think, you know, purple and blue go really well together as well. So it's going to be a very cute little froggy. Isn't Mother Nature just incredible though? Like the colours just in Mother Nature. You know, I don't know when the last time you went for a walk in nature, but it's just everything from the trees, the flowers, the plants, the ocean, everything is just so colourful and beautiful. So I'm just finishing off his little stripes. He's got his other little leg there, and then we've got to do this leg, which is the main area of the picture. Very cool little froggy. Hello, little froggy. And we just go down here, do his little legs. Try really hard not to go outside the lines, because as I said, that's what makes him look a bit unrealistic. Keep going with that. Very nice. So I really liked the idea of these color along videos. I think it's a really good idea. I do it quite a bit. And I really quite enjoy the ones where the people are talking about their lives, talking about what's happening for them, talking about the colouring in as they're doing it, because I'm focusing on colouring in and myself, do you know what I mean? Like I'm also colouring in my own picture as they're colouring in, and I can keep looking up at their picture and having a look and saying, oh yeah, that's how they're going and that's the colour they've chosen for that. But I can just keep listening and watching like that. Where if it's just music, well, that's no good to me, because I'll just be listening to music. I may as well just listen to a DVD or something, because I'm interested in feeling like I'm colouring along with someone, and I don't really have anyone to colour in with. So it's something that I do on my own. So going on YouTube and finding people to colour in with is very fun. So there's his purple done, his purple stripes. So, you know, the difficulty here, I am going to, I was going to use this blue, but I really think that this blue is going to actually be too dark. And if you have too many dark colours, it can look a bit too full on. So I might go with this sort of grey-blue colour. Don't know how it's going to look, but anyway, here we go. Yeah, that's nice. So that's sort of it's not a bright blue. It's just a cruisy blue, and that lets the purple be, you know, the star of the show, I guess. Get his little body done. Now the other thing is that there is often a real compulsion, I guess, to just colour over the whole thing. You know, like just colour over the stripes, just colour the whole frog in. It's a paler colour, but it really does affect the overall outcome of the picture. Number one, you can really see where pens have gone over each other. which often leads to like a dull grey or, you know, it looking quite messy. So I think it's really important to not go over that other colour. Try not to touch that other colour at all, unless it's absolutely unavoidable. So do up on his head here. Yeah, I'm really quite happy with those two colours together. That was a good decision, because sometimes this is the thing with colouring, you know, without any planning, is that, you know, chances may be that it won't look great for whatever reason. You know, you put those two colours together. If you're not doing any testing on a page or anything like that, you know, I guess you could take a page aside and fiddle about. And, you know, a lot of people sort of do this, or they go, okay, well, that's that blue, and then we've got that purple. You know, where are they at in regards of contrast? Do they go together? How does that work? I don't do any of that. I'll just colour in what I like. But I guess you do, you know, have to have a basic understanding of colour. You know, I do try and focus on warms or cools, not mix all of those in together, so that they sort of go together. So, you know, the purple, of course, and the blue are both cool colours, other than warm colours. So I knew that they would work. But as I said, sometimes it's about how bright they are, how dark they are, and that sort of thing can be, you know, a bit of a balls up, I guess. So you can see here, you can see where the marker's been. Not much I can do about that. Where this colour here, it sort of soaks into the paper and doesn't leave behind sort of any lines. I think that that little line there is the lily pad. Finish off his little body. Don't forget his little leg over this side. And then we've got his big foot on this side. I love toes on frogs because they remind me that they're frogs and not toads. Toads have always got those horrible toes, like they're just so gross, where frogs have got these cute little sort of sticky pads. So nice, look at that. Yeah, I think both the dragonfly and the frog have come out really nicely, to be honest. And what a beautiful start to my picture, to have the two stars of the show sort of standing out. I've got a bit of a background colour happening. So I'll just finish off his little leg and I'll say goodbye to you guys for a little while. And I might try and come back and do a little bit more when I've got a bit of time. Now I'm just thinking now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the ring around his eye. I do have my gold pen, so I could do it gold, but I've got a couple of issues with that. The first concern with doing in gold, I'm not sure, I feel like this is part of his webbing there. Remember what I said about attention to detail? Might make his toes just a little bit darker. And that's just a case of just putting a little bit more ink on like that. So, what are we going to do about his eye? So I might use this bright blue that I was going to use on his whole body, around his eye. Ooh, not a fan. Oh, it doesn't look too bad, I guess. So yeah, so there's my little frog and my dragonfly. I think what I'm going to do, these are lotus seeds or lotus flowers, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my gold. Oh, hang on, this is the one I haven't used. Got another one here. So with these, you just have to push down to release the paint a bit. So yeah, I'm just going to do some gold on here. And the thing is with these pens is they do take a little while to dry. So once I've done this, I'll have to just leave the book for a bit and let it dry. You can see the problem that I've had there, they've started to run together. This one's a little bit easier because they're not as close together. But you can see that just really will add sort of a, you know, a point of interest or a highlight to the picture. And then we've got another one over here. I'm not sure what colour I'm going to do these lotus flowers. I might even have a look. But I can see them being like a light caramel colour or a beige or something like that, because the lotus flowers that I've eaten at the Japanese restaurant I go to, they're always like a, you know, a light beige colour. But I'm not sure if that's because they've been cooked, because I think they're deep fried. Raycon chips or something they're called. So we'll just finish these little seed pods like that. They remind me of that, you know, the holes and things. I remember years ago seeing this picture of a woman's breast, and they said that it was because, you know, she'd ended up with maggots in her breast because she'd put a bra on that was posted from overseas without washing it first, and it was like a picture like this. And then it was identified that it was actually a fake because it was actually a lotus flower that they used as a base to sort of Photoshop that on. So while this gold dries, I will have to have a bit of a break. And I will come back soon. So thank you all for watching, guys, and listening to me ramble on. And hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Bye.